What's up, everybody? Andy from StarWars.com here at Lucasfilm headquarters, welcoming you back for Season 3 of Rebels Recon. Between Ezra's attitude change, Kanan's conversations with Bendu, and the introduction of Thrawn, we have a metric ton of stuff to talk about today. So let's skip the rambling intro and get right down to it. Rebels Recon starts right now. After breaking him out of prison, Hondo Ohnaka informs the rebels of an Imperial scrapyard brimming with Y-Wings ripe for the taking.
If we could steal a squadron's worth,
they would be key to building a strike fleet.
Kanan, still grappling with the events in the Sith Temple, encounters the Bendu, who gives him valuable insight into the ways of the Force.
Your connection to the Force allows you to see in ways others cannot. If you can see yourself, you will never be truly blind.
Narrowly succeeding in stealing the bombers, the rebels escape capture, but only because Grand-Admiral Thrawn has bigger plans in mind.
Break off your attack and allow them to escape with their meager reward.
This week we saw a different side of Ezra emerge, as well as seeing Kanan explore a deeper side of the Force with Bendu. I sat down with cast and crew to discuss the changes their characters are undergoing, as well as what it took to bring a legendary character like Thrawn back into Star Wars. Check it out. Ezra has been messing around with the Sith holocron and learning some new tricks. How do you think this affects him?
He's learning more about the other side of the Force, and that's good and bad. One, because it is also kind of pulling at him, but it's good in the sense that he's broadening his perspective, and he's learning more and learning how to harness the Force in different ways.
At the end of Steps into Shadow, Kanan comes out of his self-imposed exile to help the rebels. What has he learned in this time?
After losing his sight, he separated himself from the Force and really kind of just sat in the dark. He blamed himself for a lot of what happened.
While Kanan might not ever see as he used to, he might be able to see things in a more detailed, emotionally involved way, in a clearer way than he ever has before.
The cowboy side of him is kind of taken the back seat.
And it's still there, right? That will always be a part of Kanan, and I think it's important never to lose that. In the end, for Kanan, a lot of his character is going to be about resolving things that occurred in second season, and we'll see him deal with the fallout of those events throughout most of the series as we go.
I think one of the things that is key is the introduction of the notion that the Jedi are only one flavor of Force study, and they're the most well-known, but they're not the oldest. Through that, Kanan might find better answers in terms of what he's looking for.
He has to face some honest truths that you can't save everybody, you can't protect everyone. By chance or by luck or by will of the Force, he runs into this character who, for lack of a better term, is the Force.
Bendu is a pretty mystical concept, and what was the inspiration for that character?
In our animated projects, be it Clone Wars or Rebels, we've had a lot of freedom to explore the Force in a deeper way. Bendu is just this notion that there are many old things in the galaxy.
We were talking about developing this planet that the rebels find and really wanted to make it a special place. There's something interesting about a character who sees outside of good and evil.
Bendu really isn't evil or good. He is kind of the balanced, to me, duality of the Force. When the Jedi talk about prophecies and whatnot, everybody talks in terms of balance of the Force. So it's a mistake to sit there and think that what you're ultimately trying to do is upend the light or the dark.
Bendu is a bit of an enigma. How do you think Kanan should handle dealing with him in the future?
It's not a character you can be anything but yourself with, or he just simply won't have time for you. Anytime Kanan brings that to the table, insecurities, fear, anger, cockiness, he strips it away right away.
Whose idea was it to bring Thrawn onto the scene?
The name was bandied around in season 1, very early season 1. However, at that time, the Rebels universe was too small to bring in a character as large and as powerful and as imposing as Thrawn. So we really wanted to develop the series and widen it out. And as the Rebels grew in power and a threat to the Empire would respond with someone like Thrawn.
We're all big fans of the Thrawn trilogy. It was Dave who threw out the ideas well, are we ready for Thrawn at this point? And that was really ultimately Kiri's call. And she said, yeah, let's do it now.
How does this iteration of Thrawn compare with the original?
I feel like everyone that read Heir to the Empire and that whole trilogy felt like they got a great impression of who Thrawn is and his connection to art and the way he speaks and the way he commands.
In my mind, I really wanted to be as true as I could be to Zahn's books. So it was a great honor to actually take the time and really make sure we got the character as close to the novel as we could. This is a beloved Star Wars legacy character in my mind, so I really wanted to be as true to Thrawn as a character as I could.
In this version, Thrawn is more of an established character. There's not as much a sense of mystery around him in terms of who he is and what he's capable of. And we're at the height of the Empire too, so he's prominent, he's a threat, and he's basically ready to get into action right away.
Earlier this week, Дэйв Филони, as well as members of the Rebels cast and crew, gathered a lucky group of fans for a screening of this week's episode, Steps into Shadow at Lucasfilm. What followed was a Q&A that we just so happened to attend and want to share with you. Check it out.
I love recording with the cast personally. It's the interaction that we have. We're kind of a really dysfunctional family anyway.
It's really about helping the actor get into their space and their character. You're trying to make that environment combative, whether it needs to be friendly, fun, and it's my job to push them to know that they've actually gotten there or not. One thing I've learned over the years, no matter how loud you think you're shouting or the intensity of it, it will be less when you get it back and then you animate it and it suddenly comes to life.
In this
I
episode,
use.
that falling with the shuttle falling, we did that multiple times because we came back and like, yeah, this is going through a sandstorm and falling, and you're like, yo, this is loud as you can.
Sometimes I get the animation back and the render and it's this gorgeous thing and it's like, it's so intense. It's like, help, I'm over here. I'm like, whoa.
Okay.
I kind of go loud first though. You probably have to pull me back.
They are so like their group. I can't even describe it. They're all similar. If you had weird purple stripy dog legs, then you would really, and you're not that far off
do.
of it.
They're
And
under,
you've
that's why I'm wearing
been
long
growing
pants
when you
today.
were such a child when we found you, and now you're such this adult now, so proud. But you know.
Got questions about Steps into Shadow or any other Rebels questions you've been sitting on since last season? Tweet them to @StarWars using the hashtag Rebels Recon, and maybe, just maybe, the Lucasfilm Story Group's Pablo Idalgo will answer them here next week. Now, because I missed you and I love you so much, check out this exclusive preview of next week's episode, Holocrons of Fate.
Hang on, all right, we'll get you help. What happened here?
Red Blade, after you. Made me tell. The ghost is in danger.
Another Inquisitor?
We've got to warn Hera.
Thanks for watching Rebels Recon. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. In the meantime, check out our episode guide for Steps into Shadow on StarWars.com while I go paint my face blue and buy some red contacts for Thrawn!